At the Quartermain mansion, Lois finds Ned glued to his laptop, looking over the Australian deal Michael closed, and he doesn't think it was a good one. Lois says that's because his numbers are off by $12,000. Ned is frustrated that Michael closed the deal without coming to him, but Lois asks what Eddie would have said if Michael did. Ned vents Michael had no right to do what he did. Lois points out when he was not in his right mind and couldn't close the deal. So if Michael didn't close the deal, then it would have fallen through. She thinks this is really about his anger that Michael closed the deal and he didn't. Ned regrets turning ELQ over to Michael at such a young age, even if he was good at the job. He says Michael's never been willing to let that power go once he was pushed out, and he used his memory issue to jump in and take over. Ned is sure Michael will push him out given the chance. Lois can't believe the Qs are still fighting with each other, and that Edward would be so proud, which makes her sad. She says Edward loved playing them all against one another, and recalls how he belittled Ellen and exiled Tracy. She asks if he really wants to carry on Edward's legacy. Ned says this is just how Quartermains are. She asks what about Leela? She reminds him that Leela was no pushover. She saw through them all and loved them anyway. Lois reveals she once asked Leela what her secret was, and Leela told her she always looks for the good in everyone, and she almost always found it. She suggests he try her way and look for the good. In this case, what Michael did was good for the company and everyone involved. She says instead of blowing up the deal, he should thank Michael and perhaps suggest they could work on the next deal together. He says she really channeled Leela and she'd be proud of her. In the kitchen, Lynn is left speechless when Chase gets down on one knee and proposes. She tells him that he really doesn't have to propose just because her mom and grandma are stuck on marriage. She thinks they should take the topic off the table, but he says it's too late. He produces a ring, and she's stunned. He explains he bought it weeks ago and was going to propose on Christmas, but Lois and Gloria just spit up the timetable. He explains his dad's diagnosis made him realize nothing is promised, and they need to do what matters while they can. He says what matters most to him is her. Chase notes she hasn't given him an answer, so she tells him to ask her again. He gets back down on one knee and proposes again. She says yes with all her heart, and he puts the ring on her finger. She promises she'll love him as long as they both shall live, and they kiss. He says to think this all started with discussing her most important moments. He remembers when they first met, and he arrested her for clocking him over the head with a bottle. He calls it one of the most important days of his life, as it's the day he met his wife. Molly and Christina return to Molly's place, and Christina offers to get her a drink. Molly says she doesn't have to baby her and asks if she's sure she wants to be their surrogate. Molly lists what could go wrong, but Christina knows there are no guarantees. Christina feels the timing is right for her, and she's in good health. TJ arrives home, and Christina decides to head out and leave them to talk. The minute Christina leaves, she gets a text from Blaze asking if she's around as she wants to see her. Christina texts Blaze to meet at her apartment. Back in their apartment, TJ has been thinking about their last conversation, and Molly asks him to hear her out first. She tells him about her run-in with Dr. Navarro, and how her words resonated with her. She admits she had a meeting with Claire, who presented her with new surrogates. However, she ran into her mom, who reminded her this needs to be both their choice.